What's up, guys? I just got back from watching Longlegs. Going into this movie, I was a fan of Osgood Perkins' last film, The Blackcoat's Daughter. Although I found once I finished this new film, Longlegs, that I experienced the same things that troubled me watching The Blackcoat's Daughter. So, this movie has great atmosphere, has great acting, and it's got great cinematography, just like The Blackcoat's Daughter. Osgood Perkins has a knack for shooting things in a way that leaves open space, kind of like this, where it allows your imagination to fill in the blanks as if like something's there. And he did that a lot in The Blackcoat's Daughter. And immediately I was like, there's got to be some sort of fucking devil worship fucking angle here. Because why else would he keep doing that? Lo and behold, the detective character. Oh, spoilers. I'm getting into spoilers. My bad. The detective character brings out the book of the nine circles of hell, and I'm like, oh, okay. And when the movie first starts off, like it has like a quote. I forget what the quote says, but I was like, is that gonna play a role? Maybe, maybe not. It does, but it's very superficial. It just basically says like, oh, there's gonna be more than there's more than one head to the hydra. When you cut one off, there's more that grow out. And I was like, okay, so obviously there's going to be more than one. Because going into this movie, I knew that there was some sort of like detective, like, oh, we got to solve this serial killer murder case thing going into it. So I was like, okay, so there's going to be multiple accomplices. And in my head, after like the first like 15 minutes, I was like, okay, so the main key characters that they could be doing this, because Nicolas Cage, he could be a legitimate character, or he could be a figment of her imagination, or he could just be straight supernatural. No, as the movie goes on, he's like his own character. Um, and then on top of that, I was like, because I thought he was like a figment of her imagination, or I thought he was some way like his mom, because they give Nicolas Cage heavy prosthetics in this movie and they make him really creepy looking. And I was like, maybe that could be her, like his mom or her mom or something. But then they show her mom and I'm like, oh no. But then the movie goes on and then it turns out like, oh, yeah, he is, you know, working with the mom to kill families and stuff. And the same issue I have with the Blackcoat's Daughter, where it's like the first two acts are really compelling, and like halfway through the second act, I'm just like, why? I just start deflating. I'm just like, man, like, because just like in the Blackcoat's Daughter, he tries to set up a twist, and you can see it coming from like a mile away, and you're still kind of like, I can kind of see what you're doing, and I kind of wish you won't do that because that'd be kind of eh. And he does that in this movie too, where it's like, okay, so she's gonna have some sort of like link to fucking Longlegs somehow, and it's gonna have something to do with the devil. And then yeah, pretty much it turns out that her mom has a pact with Longlegs and the devil to basically protect her daughter from the devil doing devil things or whatever. And it just happens so suddenly. Like it literally like, this is the point where I started getting like exhausted with the movie is when they actually captured Nicolas Cage. I thought that was really interesting when they actually capture Longlegs. I was like, oh, I thought that was gonna be like the resolution of the movie. No, that's not the resolution of the movie, and it sucks because they used him so well. They used him sparingly, and it like made him have like an imposing kind of ambiguous kind of scary presence that you feel throughout the film. And then when they just have him in the jail cell and he's like doing his whole thing and they're just showing him and you're just like his like terror factor just like it just drains. One thing I will point out, which I thought was interesting, well, I thought it was cool at first because it tells you what time period the film is in when we go to the director, the FBI dude's office, and we see a picture of Bill Clinton as the president. I was like, oh, that's a pretty neat way to tell you what time period we're in. And then I thought it was interesting because it became ever so more distracting the more the movie went on. And then when they capture Longlegs and they have the scene where everyone's watching the recording of Longlegs telling Lee that, oh, happy birthday type shit. They intentionally frame him like Bill Clinton, where the detective, the guy detective, is he has his back faced towards the the television with Longface on it, and Longface is making a spooky face like ah, you know what I mean? And I was like, wow, they framed it just like Bill Clinton. I was like, is that some sort of like political uh jab or something? Or I don't know what there's definitely something going on there, but I just don't know how to dissect or analyze that. But I thought that was interesting. And then immediately, like as soon as we're introduced to the guy detective's family, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna die. I mean, why else would they be introducing them to us? Because they're not really present throughout the rest of the movie. They're literally just there to set up the ending. And I was like, ah, that's kind of lame. But whatever. And then yeah, the movie literally just fucking it just fucking ends. It just ends. It's not as like compelling as the Blackcoat's Daughter, which I'm sure he's done other movies, but that's the only one that I've seen from him. And I like the Blackcoat's Daughter ending because the devil uses the character and then she tries to do something to get back in the devil's graces, but he's not able to, or he doesn't want to because she's been baptized or whatever, or cleansed of him, and he's already used her, so she just left feeling lonely and stuff. In this movie, it just like it doesn't have that type of depressing ending. It just kind of ends because you realize that the whole doll thing where the Longlegs is creating dolls and like the little sphere thing inside of the doll is like the presence of the devil or something. And then she's trying to shoot the lady's doll or whatever, but the gun runs out. So in my head, I'm like, why don't you just take that thing outside and run that thing over? But maybe what the movie is trying to say is that the cycle is just going to continue, but it wasn't done in like a satisfying way, in my opinion. Um, yeah, like I said, he's really good at creating atmosphere, and the acting is superb. The score and the sound design is really good. I love the score. There are certain moments where there's like jump scare edits, which I thought were interesting. Like they weren't like, ugh. They were just like, oh, that's kind of cool. Some of the imagery is really cool too. I love some of the flashing imagery in the opening credits, and I love what I really love is when we're first introduced to the dolls and like they just have the black veil and you can just see like red eyes kind of just they're just barely visible and then they kind of vanish. Oh dude, I thought that was really cool. And then he brings back the devil from the Blackcoat's Daughter, so in my head I'm like, is this a sequel to the Blackcoat's Daughter? It could be, it could be. This could be a whole universe of Satan films, who knows? But overall I just felt dissatisfied. I felt more dissatisfied with this film than I did the Blackcoat's Daughter. And it's the same thing where it gets very just I don't know, exhausted in the like second, like the latter of the second half, and then it just the endings just aren't satisfying. Like the Blackcoat's Daughter was more satisfying, but this one just felt like a step back, a step in the opposite direction. And I don't know, like Nick Cage, like yeah, he worked like he was genuinely creepy up until they fucking showed him in the jail scene, just like going full Nick Cage, and then I was just like, damn, probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever. Maybe people have a different opinion. Maybe people really love that shit. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I don't know. Tell me what you thought of the movie. I'm curious to know because now I'm gonna go on the internet and see what other people say. I just had to get this off rip, just like boom, my first initial reaction, my first response to this thing, put it out there, see what the general consensus is. Because people were hyping this damn thing up. They were like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good." And I remember this because I was mixing this up with Cuckoo. Because I really like when I saw the because there was trailers for this and trailers for Cuckoo, and when both of these trailers came out, I thought Longlegs was interesting because the dude that did the Blackcoat's Daughter. I was like, oh, I want to see more movies from him. But then I seen the trailer for Cuckoo, and I was like, ooh, and I was like, I had them mixed up in my head for a while. But Cuckoo, like, genuinely, like, looks really fucking cool. So I'm really excited for that. This movie, I didn't really have any expectations going into it. I was just like, oh, it's the dude that's doing the Blackcoat's Daughter, or that did the Blackcoat's Daughter, and he has Nick Cage in it. Like, that was enough for me to be like, oh, now I got to go watch this. But going into it with no expectations and then coming out of it, I gotta say I was left feeling dissatisfied, unfulfilled with how it ends. It just literally ends. Maybe there was a end credit scene. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, I still prefer the Blackcoat's daughter. It's the same thing with Brandon Cronenberg, where I would not compare the Blackcoat's daughter to Possessor, because Possessor is like so fucking good. But I felt the same thing with just like the dissatisfaction with the next film that came out, the preceding film, with the Infinity Pool. Like Infinity Pool, like it's like, it's got a lot of good stuff in it, but compared to Possessor, it's like a severe step down and a step in the wrong direction. And that's how I feel with this movie. Um, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Anyways, smooch.